G, I think we got one.
I'm very close to the cutting edge in AI, and it scares the hell out of me. It's capable of vastly more than almost anyone knows, and the rate of improvement is exponential. You can see this in things like AlphaGo, which went from, in the span of maybe 6 to 9 months, it went from being unable to beat even a reasonably good Go player to then beating the European world champion who was...
What is the role? Where should government be a player and where should it be hands-off? What's ideal in your mind?
Sure. A lot of the time, the best thing that government can do is just get out of the way. Then after that would be ensuring that there are not artificial monopolies. That we should be wary of that.
A report issued last year by NASA's Office of Inspector General found that NASA expects to pay SpaceX an average of about $55 million per seat, and Boeing about $90 million per seat for the 6 round-trip missions to the ISS. But Boeing and NASA both refuted the OIG numbers. In a statement, Boeing said that the company will fly the equivalent of a 5th passenger in cargo for NASA, so the per-seat pricing should be considered based on 5 seats rather than the report's 4-seat calculation.
SpaceX was new to the game, and I think their advantage was their flexibility, their speed, their culture, that they could work in this fixed price, more commercial-like environment.
SpaceX also had the advantage of being able to apply a lot of what it learned from building its cargo capsule for NASA's COTS program to its crew capsule. By the time it received its crew program contract from NASA in 2014, SpaceX had been ferrying cargo to the space station for 2 years. The commercial crew program was initially slated to launch astronauts to the International Space Station in 2017, but early funding cuts and a number of failed tests made that impossible. One such setback for SpaceX happened in 2019, when its Crew Dragon capsule blew up during a test of the in-flight abort system. SpaceX had also previously lost 2 Falcon 9 rockets, one during a space station resupply mission in 2015.
Stunning explosion over the skies of Cape Canaveral today. An unmanned rocket bringing supplies to the International Space Station blew up just 2 minutes into its flight. It's another setback for NASA and for SpaceX, the company that will one day carry astronauts into orbit.
And another in 2016 that was supposed to launch Facebook's $200 million satellite into orbit.
In general, the government is kind of waking up across the space sector in terms of software. It's very tricky, and the government's not very successful in doing software for space at this time.
SpaceX is in a really strong position to deliver for NASA. They have a much faster timeline. I think that they stick to reiterating on their technology because Elon Musk came from the software side, right? So Elon Musk, he was one of the founders of PayPal, he's had Tesla, he's had experience working in different industries where he's not used to sitting, waiting around for, the federal government budgets, thinking about milestones that could be impacted just based off of politics.
While NASA benefits from lower costs, SpaceX and Boeing benefit from having a government agency foot the bill for the building and development of systems that they can use for other projects. The agency awarded contracts to SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Dynetics to begin development of lunar landers.
This will be our third flight of people to the space station. We had the test mission with 2 astronauts, then the first sort of operational mission with 4. This is our second operational mission with 4. It's an international crew, great group. So we're designed to be far in excess of NASA's requirements. Yeah. And so it's really intended to be something that that can enable a permanently occupied base on the moon. So we've got obviously a permanently occupied base in Antarctica, and it would be great to have one on the moon as well. Yeah. And you can do I think a lot more research if you have the scientists actually there. Exactly. It's just off the coast. Mars is much further. Actually, more important than the size of Starship is the fact that it is intended to be fully and rapidly reusable. Yeah. So this is the fundamental holy grail breakthrough needed for access to space. To make humanity a true spacefaring civilization, we must have a fully and rapidly reusable rocket.
I'm Tom Costello at SpaceX headquarters in Los Angeles. Behind me, they are getting a Dragon space capsule ready for a trip to the International Space Station. But we're here because Elon Musk just made major news, announcing that for the first time ever, they're going to send 4 civilians into orbit around the Earth. None of them is a veteran astronaut.
I mean, what future do you want? A future where we're ever confined to Earth, or a future where we are out there among the stars? And I think a future where we're out there among the stars, that's what people want. I mean, that's the thing that gets people excited about the future. And you get up in the morning and like, yeah, the future can be better than the past.
Elon, this almost sounds like a joyride for somebody and for the people who can afford it.
I think, first of all, I think people will really enjoy, seeing things vicariously from the video that is, and the watching the mission. It's like when America went to the moon in '69. It wasn't just a few people. Humanity went to the moon. We all went there with them, and I think it's something similar here. We will all be with Jared on the journey, and we'll be seeing it in real time. It's an important milestone on the road towards making access to space more affordable.
55 feet above historic Launch Pad 39A, we met the crew of Inspiration 4, the next astronauts to climb atop a rocket at SpaceX's launch tower.
I mean, this is like totally sacred ground. Everyone who ever walked on the moon launched right from this facility.
Jared Isaacman, the mission's commander, walked us down the crew access arm, their gateway to the stars.
There's your jetway to the rockets.
Isaacman is 38. At 16, he quit high school to form a payments technology company and became a billionaire. His hobby, owning and flying fighter jets.
So when the new commercial era of space opened, you thought, I'm a customer?
Well, I mean, I thought there would be a chance.
Ignition, liftoff.
He's chartered a Crew Dragon spaceship. For 3 days, flying on autopilot, it will orbit more than 300 miles above Earth, higher than the space station. The nose cone will pop open for views that are out of this world. Isaacman paid SpaceX an undisclosed price for all 4 seats, 3 will go to complete strangers.
When I found out that Inspiration 4 was going to be the first all-civilian mission to space, well, then there's no chance that's going to be a bunch of fishing buddies going on a joyride. That's something of significance, of responsibility, and we were going to make it really special.
Each seat will represent a human virtue. Isaacman's will be leadership. He donated 2 of the 3 remaining seats to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in Memphis.
St. Jude called me one day. They said they had something to talk to me about.
Haley Arsenault's 29. This physician's assistant at St. Jude's would become the youngest American ever to fly in space.
So we're going to call the St. Jude patients from space. They're going to see that somebody who is in their shoes, who also fought childhood cancer, can go to space, and I think it's really going to show them what they're capable of.
These are the spectators that we're watching.
Engines at 65%, 3 engines running normally, 3 good fuel cells, 3 good APUs. Velocity 2,257 feet per second.
Staged came apart.
Oh my God.
At that point, all that remained was...
The flight dynamics officer that the vehicle has exploded. Flight director confirms that. We're looking at...
The first in 1986, when the Challenger exploded just over a minute into its flight, killing all 7 crew members.
From Mission Control, silence. Then the bland, chilling report.
We have a report from the flight dynamics officer that the vehicle has exploded. Flight director confirms that. We are looking at checking with the recovery forces to see what can be done at this point.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Cyan Proctor, aptly named, teaches science at a community college in Phoenix. Proctor's ticket to space aboard Inspiration 4 came by winning a contest for entrepreneurs. Her seat represents prosperity.
This is where everybody got on their rocket to go.
Chris Sembrowski, a 41-year-old engineer from Seattle, won the 4th seat through an online raffle to raise money for St. Jude's. He actually lost the raffle, but a friend won and gave him the chance. Now that's generosity, the virtue his seat represents. This space flight will make history. Isaacman also hopes it makes money as a fundraiser for St. Jude's.
Scheduled for 11:57 p.m. Pacific time.
In their recovery operations as soon as Dragon lands. And I don't know if you can hear the applause on splashdown. But we have visual confirmation of the Crew 1 Resilience capsule.
From Resilience. This excellent news. We are splashed down.
Dragon SpaceX, brace for capsule lift.
Here is, I think that's Mike Hopkins, the commander. He seems very excited. So now with Dragon getting ready to undock and the umbilicals have separated, let's go to Brandy in mission control at Johnson Space Center.
Dragon, SpaceX on the big loop, all hooks open and nominal.
Certain copies, we see separation.
Mike Hopkins, they're confirming what you're seeing on the screen. Dragon moving away from the International Space Station.
Dragon separation visually confirmed.
Looks like Crew 2 wasn't the only one sailing through space on Friday. Check out this video. It's not another rocket or a UFO. It looks like a piece of space debris hurling toward the Crew Dragon capsule. This happened as the astronauts were about to go to sleep to get ready to dock at the ISS on Saturday.
Call for Crew 2 as they almost collided into a UFO about 12 minutes into their mission. In this dramatic video, a UFO can be seen as it shoots past the spacecraft just 12 minutes into its mission. 6 hours later, the 4 astronauts on board were told to buckle up when a second unknown object hurled towards them, just barely missing them. NASA says the object is being classified as unknown. Of course, any unidentified flying object makes many people think of aliens and the supernatural.
If we accidentally caught a UFO on tape, hey, if I had to bet, I would bet it's some man-made space debris.
He says that many of these UFOs are mostly defunct satellites and rocket parts, a big issue called space pollution.
The problem is really these large objects that get hit by like a 5 centimeter little ball that just has about the energy of a hand grenade and then blows them apart.
Wild says orbital debris creates a threat to both manned and unmanned spacecrafts.
Making sure as we move forward that we limit the amount of debris, that we remove spacecraft from orbit at the end of their life. And there's more and more work going into finding technologies that allow us to remove the stuff we already have up there.
To ensure that the rules are correct and that the incentives are what we actually want them to be for, like I said, the long-term maximum happiness of the people into the future. I think machines will, well, my views on AI, I've spoken a lot about this. AI will be able to do everything better than human over time, everything.
Everything includes, yeah. Okay, Elon.
If AI has a goal and humanity just happens to be in the way, it will destroy humanity as a matter of course, without even thinking about it. No hard feelings.
We are in the early stages of probably one of the biggest technological revolution. Some people call it our final invention. If we can solve AI, we can solve so many other problems. And eventually, AI will make better decisions than humans. While science fiction often portrays AI as robots with human-like characteristics, AI can encompass anything from Google's search algorithms to IBM's Watson. But what's wrong? If we make AR smarter than us, we have to be open to the possibility that we might actually lose control to them. As pointed out by I.J. Good, designing smarter AI systems is itself a cognitive task. Such a system could potentially undergo recursive self-improvement, triggering an intelligence explosion, leaving human intellect far behind. In 2016, Elon Musk said that humans risk being treated like house pets by artificial intelligence unless a technology which can connect brains to computers is developed. Shortly after making the remarks, he announced Neuralink, a new brain-computer interface startup that is attempting to implant a brain chip. Neuralink will allow humans to compete with AI, according to Musk, as well as help cure brain diseases, control mood, and even let people listen to music directly from our chips. Many widely regarded scientists like Stephen Hawking, Steve Wozniak, and Bill Gates have already expressed their concerns that superintelligent AI could escape our control and move against us. Elon Musk warns that humans risk being overtaken by artificial intelligence by 2025. This prediction marks a significant revision of previous estimations of the so-called technological singularity, when machine intelligence surpasses human intelligence and accelerates at an incomprehensible rate. The singularity is a hypothetical era in the future where our intelligence will become increasingly non-biological and trillions of times more powerful than it is today. Kurzweil believes that we will get to the singularity by creating a superhuman AI. Irrespective of whether we believe that the singularity will happen or not, the very thought raises many concerns, critical security risks, and uncertainties for the future of humanity.
But I think we're really going to have to either merge with AI or be left behind.
The company aims to implant wireless brain-computer interfaces that will link human brains directly to computers. For Musk, brain-computer interfaces are the only way the human race will survive, given the ongoing encroachment of AI. Implanted via injection, a grid of wires only a few millimeters across can insinuate itself with living neurons, offering a way for electronics to interface with your brain activity.
Sometimes people think, oh, is this some escape hatch for rich people? No, you know, they think it's like, so, you know, going to Mars reads like that ad for Shackleton going to the Antarctic. You know, it's dangerous, it's uncomfortable, it's a long journey. You might not, you know, come back alive, but it's a glorious adventure, and it'll be amazing, an amazing experience.
And your name will go in history.
Yes, you might die. It's gonna be uncomfortable, and you probably won't have good food, and all these things, you know. So if an arduous and dangerous journey where you may not come back alive, but it's a glorious adventure, sounds appealing.
And
Mars is the place.
And you still have thousands of volunteers, if not millions of volunteers, who would want to go.
I mean, honestly, a bunch of people probably will die in the beginning. It's tough sledding over there. You know?
We're an exploring species.
Yeah, exactly. Not forever. We don't want to make anyone go, so it's like, it's volunteers only.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff of the Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon. Go NASA, go SpaceX, Godspeed, Bob and Doug.
Patient Services Program, or known more affectionately within NASA as COTS. COTS began in about the mid-2000s, and it was simply a push to see if private companies could develop spacecraft and deliver cargo to the International Space Station.
2 commercial partners were tapped for the job: SpaceX and Orbital ATK, a company now owned by Northrop Grumman. COTS was a success and gave NASA the confidence that it needed to expand the commercial partnerships beyond ferrying cargo to ferrying astronauts. This became a particularly pressing need after NASA ended the shuttle program in 2011.